Hey guys, thanks for joining us. This is going to be our first episode of Meet the Resident series, University of Cincinnati. So today we're going to have Vikrom Dhar joining us. Vic, thanks for being here with us. I know it's hard to pin the residents down. They're always working. So Vic is a postgraduate year 7, so PGY 7, and he's also our administrative chief. So we'll ask him what that means. But Vic, thanks for being on here. I know you guys are super busy. So Vic just matched to minimally invasive surgery at Cornell, so he'll be joining that crew fall of 2021. Vic, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for
See you.
joining us. It's hard. You guys are, well, I guess we are pretty busy. So we just wanted to get to know you a little bit outside of surgery. I know that with virtual interviews, students have a lot of questions about what are the residents like. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up? What's your family like?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Michigan and grew up in Michigan and went to Michigan for undergrad, Michigan State for med school, and didn't get too far away for residency. Ended up in Ohio, and have been at Cincinnati ever since. So
Yeah.
it's been good. I did biomedical engineering in college, and out of college, I kind of had a job offer at GE and an acceptance at med school, and I think my dad wanted me to go into business and get
Mm-hmm.
off his payroll, but mom wanted me to go to med school, so I listened to mom and went to med school, and that's why I'm
Wow.
here now.
So I think I'm learning about you too. I didn't realize that you had that crossroads in your life.
Yeah.
You're always, that's pretty cool. Do you have
I,
brothers
w-
and sisters?
I kind of grew up spoiled, only child, and was the focus of attention, so I
Yeah.
was kind of spoiled growing up.
So outside of, or obviously you love surgery and everything surgery. Of course, that goes without saying. But outside of that, what kind of things did you like doing? Do you like doing, or when you have some spare time?
Yeah, I think a residency is a sometimes a hobby killer, but the one hobby that survived is probably basketball. I got lucky that here at Cincinnati there's a big basketball contingency of some of the faculty and
Yeah.
residents who like to play, and some people who like to watch. So we, at least pre-COVID, we were playing about once a week,
Oh
some of
wow.
the faculty and some of the residents, and so that was nice because a lot of the trash talk from the OR would carry over to the basketball court, and vice versa.
That was going to be my next question. If you guys have engaged in trash talk, breaking ankles, and if that carries over to the OR, or if the
Yeah,
the aggression kind of keeps separate space.
at one point, uh, I think the transplant division has been banned from having more than one attending participate at a time, because there was a time where one transplant attending had a dislocated shoulder and one had a torn Achilles, both from basketball, and so
Who will remain unnamed, as the story
they'll
goes.
remain unnamed.
The legends. Yeah.
But but for the sake of that division, I think now they're down to one attending at basketball per session.
Yeah. So changing a little bit to just get to know, we talked about other stuff, but with surgery, what did you decide that was your move? Obviously, medical school, you kind of go through everything and everyone, is cherry picking. How did you make that decision? When did you know
Yeah,
for
I think
sure?
I think it's tough because you kind of go through med school and you're rotating for 3 or 4 weeks on a rotation, and you're kind of having to decide, well, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so it's really hard. I got lucky that I just kind of fell in love with surgery from day one, and knew that I wanted to be in the operating room, and just the dissection and hands-on. I was all about operative technique, and that really interested me more than more of the cerebral stuff, probably during medicine and rounding. And so I used to, in med school, as soon as rounds would finish on other services, I'd kind of sneak away and go to the OR if I could,
Oh wow.
just to get a peek.
Yeah. Did your mom and dad have a say in that decision too? Did mom rule or?
No, they once I got into med school, I think they both got off my back and left me to my own devices. They just wanted me to graduate med school, so that worked out.
That's good. Do you have any stories? Or stories to you that really were like, man, I just wasn't sure I was going to make it through medical school or a certain part of residency that you can remember? I'm sure a lot of it is painful, but
Yeah, I think especially the first year of residency, everything is so new and you feel very small. And, you go through 4 years of medical school, and then your first day on call as an intern, you realize, oh my God, I don't know anything. And
Yeah.
so that's a little bit of a wake up moment. And intern year, especially, I think you have to rely heavily on your classmates and your peers and your other residents to kind of lift you up to get through it. And at the same time, when they need help, you're there to lift them up. And I think
Yeah.
that's the beauty of residency, especially surgery residency, is there's a lot of camaraderie and support from the people around you, and that makes all the difference in the world.
Absolutely. I'm not being interviewed, but I agree. It's definitely a team sport, like basketball, maybe even still there's definitely picking teams helping each other out for sure.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, so if you had like a piece of advice for medical students right now going through the virtual or going to go through the virtual interviews, what would that be? Maybe something that can apply and or in general for their pursuit of a career in surgery.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really unique this year for people going through the match and interview process. A lot of the interviews before were you had an opportunity to pick up on a vibe of a place and the
Mhm.
people there, and I feel like a huge part of that might be missing when you're kind of stuck online. And so what I would say is don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to reach out to programs, talk to residents, talk to as many people as you can, because almost all programs around the country are great programs and will train you well and get you to where you want to be. It's a lot of it is about being happy on that journey and finding the right fit and being with the right people, and doing that just exclusively online can be challenging. So don't be afraid to reach out to people, to past residents, current residents, med students at those programs. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and do as much of that homework as you possibly can, because you just want to find the right fit.
Right.
That's my biggest piece of advice.
Right. Awesome. And I guess for you in the future, what are you most excited about? Obviously, you're going into your chief year last year, but what
Yeah,
are you excited about either this year or for your future that you're kind of looking forward to?
it's nice to match in fellowship and get that out of the way before chief year, so you have a landing spot. And hopefully COVID is less of a problem, especially since I'm headed to New York for fellowship. But chief year hopefully is going to be a lot of fun. I think you really take ownership of these patients and these services, and you're kind of doing some big cases that you're the primary surgeon, and you have an opportunity to start transferring some of the knowledge you have to the junior residents and operating with junior residents. And I think the most fun will be, those times where it works out that you get to operate with your classmates and kind of see how far you guys have come since you started together as interns. I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited too, since I'm coming back from research, so it should be good.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so Vic, again, we don't want to take too much of your time, but thanks for coming on here with me so we can showcase how great you are, and we're thankful to have you, obviously. So everyone, Vic Dhar, PGY7 Administrative Chief, he's our first interview for Meet the Resident series. Please feel free to leave comments or questions so we know kind of to tailor these based on your interests. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Stay tuned. And thanks for joining us. Vic, thanks a lot. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
later. Yep.
Good to see you.